it's not it's quite difficult initially, but let's talk about this. And then the key to understanding the point I'm about to bring up is how we can really understand Tantra. Coming slowly, coming slowly. But let's just discuss this. That is that, okay, if we think now about anger or jealousy or depression, we call it an emotion, and some of us have them very strongly. And because our mind is living in a body, because our consciousness, not physical, is conjoined with physical, then obviously, because there's an intimate relationship between the mental and the physical, and this is where the tantric model helps and the Tibetan medical system helps, like I said before, because your physical is, you know, it plays a massive role. But the reason you have a strong feeling, as you say, which is physical, is first because the mind and the body are connected. That's clear. But remember, the mind is not physical and the body is physical. So anger's mode is mind. But so why it's strong is really simple. Is because you've practiced it to perfection. Now, some of you in this room don't have much anger, and I swear to you, I prostrate to people who don't have much anger. You're like miraculous human beings. The best you can do when something goes wrong is sort of like, oh, drat. It's unbelievable. You're like saints as far as I'm concerned. It's a miraculous state of mind. Life is fine for people like you, I tell you. So, okay, for those of us who know anger well, and I thought it was my middle name until I began hearing the Buddhists. Even then, when I became a Buddhist, I still believe it was my middle name. You just assume it's natural, don't we? So when it's a strong emotion like this, we don't think we have any control, do we? We don't think even there's a choice to get angry. You don't sit there and go, oh, will I be angry or will I be patient? I think I'll be angry. You don't do that, do you? It seems to come spontaneously, wouldn't you agree? Now, for those of you who go to the depression, it's the same, isn't it? For those of you who have jealousy easily or low self-esteem or guilt, you don't make a clear intellectual decision to do these things. Wouldn't you agree? It seems just to be there as if it's your real personality, as if it's true and you're made this way and it's not your fault. It comes spontaneously, right? Okay. So because it's spontaneous and because we think Mummy and Daddy made us, of course we can deduce. We have to deduce, therefore it's not my fault. It's reasonable to deduce it's your parents' fault. They did make you as far as we're concerned. But the Buddha says they didn't, Robina. Leave them out. They're just lying there minding their own business and you come along. So please leave your parents out of it. Okay, so getting used to this idea of karma, which we'll go into after lunch, okay. So here it is, it's my anger. First of all, to even own it as yours, that's stupendous, rather than saying she did this. But so the key point I'm trying to get into here, let's do this one, is it's a strong physical feeling because the mind of anger, the habit of anger is so strong for you. In fact, in my case, I can say for sure, it was embedded in my mind from the time I was born. From the second I came out of the womb, you could deduce from my behaviour that there was anger there, which is as powerful as one. I remember one Nyingma Lama, I remember reading such a clear thought. He said, anger is the response when attachment doesn't get what it wants. So the default mode from day to day, what we're doing every second, from the second we wake up, we are living in the assumption that I must get what I want every microsecond. It's not even a thought, and this is even more instinctive than anger. We're going to, I'm looking at, okay, there's this intense assumption that I must get, and the millisecond it doesn't meet what it wants, panic stations, drama, called anger. Now for some of us, like me, it goes out. It's volatile, explosive. For some of you, it goes in and it becomes depression and despair. And we'll discuss this in a minute. But the key point I want to try and get here, and let's understand this, is how the physical is just the response of the mental. And that anger is a mental state of mind. It's in the mental consciousness, not a sensory. You've got to remember this. Get it clear. There is a physical experience. It's called what we call anger. It's just a physical experience. It's a physical experience. The heart beating, the blood racing, the tears coming, the spit coming out the mouth, the eyes wide, drama, berserk words coming out the mouth, no clarity. That is physical. That is the senses. But that is not anger. Anger is a state of mind. Mind is not physical. It's a mental state. So that means, surprise, surprise, it's a concept. So effectively, Lord Buddhist psychology says that at the moment, in ordinary day-to-day life, we We have mental consciousness and we have sensory, and in the mental consciousness, listen to this, there are only concepts. Now we all know a concept is a thought. Now this is a shock, isn't it? Anger is a concept. Who are you trying to kid? So first you establish that there is a physical feeling, but don't call it anger. It's the servant of the anger in your mind. When your speech says those words, your fist does that thing. That is physical. Of course it is. It is sensory. Of course it is. But be precise. It's not anger. It's angry behaviour, if you like, but it's behaviour based upon a state of mind called anger, and that anger is a series of thoughts that you have practiced to perfection, that you have got instinctive, even, and Buddha would suggest, practice from past life. You come programmed with it in your mind at the first second of conception. Let's just take this as a given at the moment. We'll go into karma later. So already it's practice. It's like Mozart. He gets a piano at the age of 6. Off he goes, writing sonatas. His mother did not teach him this. Mother Teresa, excuse me, we can see what she was programmed with. You know, we got programmed with stuff. So anger, for example, this explosive, what we think of as an explosive, destructive, physical thing, and it is all of this, but that's not technically anger. Anger is the mental part. Mental is not physical, and in the mental's consciousness, effectively, until we're advanced, we only have thoughts. So we have thoughts up here. There is one cup on my table. Would you agree that's a thought in my mind? It's a thought, isn't it? Okay? I hate you. You are the cause of all my suffering. Wouldn't you agree that's a thought? If you tape recorded my anger fit, right, and you wrote the words down perfect with all the punctuation, there'd be lots of punctuation, lots of exclamation marks, lots of unfinished sentences, lots of hyphens, lots of dots, because there's nothing clear there. You read it, and anybody with half a brain, without hearing all the shouting, will go, oh wow, this person's quite angry. Would you not? Because you can see it, right? And what are words? What are words, people? Where do words come from? What are words? Thoughts. They're thoughts, aren't they? Would you agree they're thoughts? So you have to accept that anger is a bunch of thoughts, right? Don't you agree with this? So you've got your physical experience, describe that in one way, and then you have the words coming out of the mouth, and they're thoughts, right? You can't say they're not thoughts, can you? How can you say those angry words are not thoughts? Can you give another name to me, please?
Symbol.
Besides thoughts?
Symbol.
What?
They're a symbol.
Oh, now where are you?
I'm back here behind the camera.
Where are you?
Back here.
No, you're being far too complicated, darling. Don't keep